Okay, good morning, Marmots. It's Thursday, and it is February 1-1. This date in history, we're just going to jump right into it. I'm just going to go with the first one that I remember and see. On this date, way back in 1990, which is ironically year I graduated high school, so I remember this pretty well because it's kind of a big deal. On this date back, February 11th, 1990, Nelson Mandela. He was the leader of the South African movement to end apartheid. Basically, apartheid was the South Africans' segregation and persecution of the native Africans that lived there. And the whites who were doing this were the British, who basically had colonized the area back in the 1800s and early 1900s in efforts of, I call it, raping the area of all of its natural resources and then leaving behind basically a crap hole. That's kind of what the European countries did to Africa back in the late 1800s and into the 1900s, is took every resource and ruined the land and left the people desolate and poor. Not that the land in about a third of Africa is very arid, or it's very arid and it's not very porous and able to grow crops, but there's the largest diamond mine in the world is in South Africa. So that just kind of tells you. So anyway, Mandela was released today in 1990 after being imprisoned for 27 years. Gosh, I'm trying to remember but Mandela, so let me back up. Mandela was a lawyer, and in 1944 he joined the ANC, which is the African National Congress. It's basically a political organization. And in 1952 he became the president of the ANC, and the white supremacy and racial segregation started getting worse into the early 1960s, and you had a massacre of peaceful black demonstrators in Sharpeville. There's a movie that's based on that, and I can't remember the name of it. God, irritating. But anyway, he was in 1960 he helped organize the parliamentary branch of the ANC to engage in guerrilla warfare against white minority government. So he started to stand up and fight, and he was a little bit different than Dr. King. Dr. King led by being peaceful and by not fighting and not getting violent. And Mandela did get aggressive with the peoples down there, and it was, some will argue, necessary, some maybe not. But in 1961 he was arrested for treason, but he was acquitted, and then he was arrested again in 62 for leaving the country illegally. He was convicted of that, sentenced 5 years in prison. In 1964 he was on trial again for sabotage, and then he was convicted again. And he spent basically the first 18 of the 27 years in jail at Robben Island Prison, which was an absolute atrociously brutal prison. He was in a small cell without a bed or plumbing. He was forced to do hard labor in a rock quarry. Once a year he was allowed to have a visitor for 30 minutes. Then after he did 18 years there, and he was moved to another location where he lived under house arrest for the final 9 years. F.W. de Klerk, he was a South African president in 1989, and he set out to dismantle apartheid and freed Nelson Mandela, and they subsequently managed to get him elected as the leader of South Africa eventually. In like 93, but de Klerk and him there's another good movie where Morgan Freeman plays Mandela, and I can't remember who plays de Klerk, and it might be called Mandela too. I gotta look it up, but it's it's well worth watching, and it's a good depiction of the story between the two men and their relationship. They weren't friends, but they were friendly, if that makes any sense. So Mandela and de Klerk were jointly awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in '93. 1 year later, he won the electoral. So it was 1994, and he only stayed in politics until 1999. But he was an advocate for peace and social justice until he died in 2013. And he was like 90, I think. He was somewhere in that range. He was an older man when he died, but a very, 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 very important figure in the world. I mean, he's on the level of Dr. King, really and truly. He's on the level of Dr. King when it comes to civil rights, and social justice. So that's what I got. Today is elective day. Thanks for listening to my little spiel on Nelson Mandela. I appreciate it. I like doing these little history lessons for you guys. Give me your date in history. Post it below. Let's see. Valentine's Day this weekend. No school Monday. Okay, it's President's Day, so we don't have any school on Monday. Enjoy your free day, and then we'll be back at it on Tuesday. We're 2 weeks away from going to 4-day school weeks. Remember, March 1st. We'll be going to Mondays. We'll be in school. And besides that, game room's almost done, guys. Tony and Caden and Jake worked on it yesterday. I went out and bought a new TV because one of them was broke. We got that thing coming in today. And we got it come in yesterday, and it's going to get put up today. We've got the stuff's all hooked up. It's just we've got to get Wi-Fi logged in, make sure we can get that logged in so we can get some games going, get the VR going, all that good stuff, and then we can start spending our minutes that we're earning. So that being said, have a great day today. Make sure you're working at home, and we will see you tomorrow for our 10 o'clock Zoom. See you guys.